I really love Jordan Peterson. Should we listen to a segment of his?
When God orchestrates a connection.
See, he talks about God and as if God is a real thing. I don't mind talking about God, involving God in whatever it is. Right? I don't want to say I don't believe, but I'm very skeptical. However, still I use the phrases like thank God, right? Stuff like that. Or oh my God. I don't believe in a man in the cloud. It's something else. It's something that even the religions are getting wrong. Please don't stone me. But I see a title here, a video from his. When God wants you with someone, this will surely happen. It could be any other person having this video up. I would not listen to it. I would not click it. It's this Jordan Peterson. I love this man. I would love to have his brain, his way of speaking. Insane. It's so high skill. Let's listen in a little bit.
Between two people, it transcends the ordinary dynamics of human relationships. This is not about mere compatibility or shared hobbies. Instead, it's an encounter at the core of your being, something so profound that it feels like meeting someone you've known forever, even if it's the first time your paths have crossed. This depth of connection is not easily explained by psychology or biology alone. It points to something spiritual, something divinely inspired. Such a bond resonates with the very essence of who you are. Imagine speaking to someone and realizing they don't just hear your words, they seem to intuitively understand the unspoken emotions and experiences behind them. You don't need to explain yourself endlessly or fear being judged. This kind of connection bypasses the superficial layers of identity, your job, your social status, or even your outward personality, and speaks directly to your soul. It's not that the other person completes you, but rather they reflect a part of your soul that feels both familiar and liberating.
It is beautiful. What Jesus said. If you have this situation, it is beautiful. Do you get this feeling sometimes with people? I remember I did. Same goes for the other way, right? But what is it really? Is it divine? Or is it just random? Have you both been exposed to the TV instead of having time with your parents? Have you both watched TV at the same era? Was it this that molded you? Is that why you have something in common? I'm using the TV now as an example, though it could be anything, right? I hope you get where my point is with this. Let's see.
In these moments, you may feel a sense of divine orchestration. You might ask yourself, why do I feel this strongly? Why do I feel at peace with this person, even though I barely know them? It's almost as if your meeting was predestined, a fulfillment of something written long before either of you could comprehend it. And it's not just about romantic attraction. It's about a sense of purpose that becomes evident when you're together. You might find that your goals, values, and dreams align in ways that feel uncanny, as if you were both preparing separately for a shared mission without even realizing it. But here's where it gets even more profound. This connection isn't just about the ease and comfort of being together. It's also about the challenge and growth it inspires. A divine connection brings to the surface parts of yourself you didn't know existed, both your strengths and your weaknesses. This person, rather than merely affirming you as you are, encourages you to grow into the person you are meant to become. They mirror your potential, and in doing so, invite you to step into a higher version of yourself. It's a partnership designed not just for happiness, but for transformation. What's critical to understand is that this type of connection often defies conventional expectations. You might not immediately recognize its significance because it doesn't always conform to the idealized versions of love we're fed by culture. It might be subtle rather than dramatic, steady rather than volatile. or it could come into your life at a time when you least expect it or feel least prepared for it. This is the paradox of divine timing. It doesn't always align with our plans, but it always aligns with God's. What makes this connection particularly remarkable is how it brings peace amidst uncertainty. Relationships orchestrated by God are not without their challenges, but they are accompanied by a deep sense of reassurance. You may feel inexplicably calm in this person's presence, or find that despite external obstacles, there is an unshakable conviction that you're meant to journey together. This peace is not the absence of conflict, but the presence of clarity, a knowing that you're exactly where you're meant to be. The modern world often tells us to rely on logic, to weigh pros and cons, and evaluate relationships like we're assessing a business proposal. But when God is involved, the connection surpasses rationality. That doesn't mean you throw reason out the window. Rather, it means that reason is supplemented by faith, intuition, and divine guidance. It's an invitation to trust something greater than yourself. A reminder. Now, this kind of connection is rare, and it's not something to be pursued recklessly. It requires discernment and patience. There's a difference between infatuation and divine alignment. Infatuation is fleeting, it burns bright and then fizzles out. Divine alignment, however, endures. It's built on a foundation of mutual respect, shared values, and spiritual resonance. It's a connection that not only uplifts you, but also honors God's purpose for your life. So, how do you recognize such a connection when it arises? Pay attention to how you feel, not just in moments of joy, but also in moments of vulnerability. Do you feel safe to be yourself? Do you feel inspired to grow? Do you sense a larger purpose at play? These are the hallmarks of a relationship that God is weaving into your life. In closing, remember this. When God connects you with someone, it's not just about love. It's about destiny. It's about aligning your life with a greater narrative, one that transcends your individual story and contributes to something far larger. If you're fortunate enough to experience such a connection, honor it, nurture it, and most importantly, trust it. Because in trusting it, you're not just trusting the other person, you're trusting God's plan for your life. God is trusted. Trust Him. That's what it means. The God is trusted. That's what it means. When God intends for you to be with someone, the connection will feel inexplicably grounded in trust. Trust isn't just a convenient byproduct of a relationship. It's the foundation on which everything else is built. And when God is at the center of a relationship, trust is not only present, but deeply intuitive. It isn't a trust born of mere repetition or habit, but one that feels as though it has been imprinted on your soul. And
that must be amazing. To be able to blindly follow, to have faith. You must be at peace. It must be such a nice feeling. So good.
you see, trust is an extraordinary phenomenon. It requires vulnerability, a willingness to expose your weaknesses and fears in the hope that the other person will hold them with care. In a relationship orchestrated by God, this trust doesn't need constant proof or validation because it comes with an unspoken understanding of mutual respect and intention. It's as though the other person instinctively knows what it means to safeguard your heart. And it's not just about trust in the absence of betrayal, it's about trust in their character, their motives, and their ability to navigate life alongside you with integrity.
Don't
But
you wish you
let's
had a
take
life
a
like
moment
this?
to clarify something. Trust is not the same as naivety. It doesn't mean ignoring red flags or excusing harmful behavior. In fact, divine trust sharpens your discernment. It allows you to distinguish between superficial charm and genuine character. When someone is truly the right person God has intended for you, their actions will consistently align with their words. They will demonstrate reliability, not just when it's convenient, but also when it's difficult. This kind of trust isn't fleeting. It endures through the challenges that inevitably arise in any meaningful relationship.
I want to be this person for somebody. That would be amazing.
The most profound indicators of trust is the ability to communicate openly and honestly. This doesn't mean that every conversation is easy, but it does mean that the relationship provides a space where honesty can flourish without fear of judgment or rejection. In relationships ordained by God, communication becomes a bridge that connects two souls, fostering mutual understanding and empathy. You feel safe enough to express your true self, knowing that your vulnerability will be met with compassion rather than criticism. And this kind of safety is not accidental. Trust also manifests in how you navigate uncertainty together. Life is unpredictable, and relationships face moments of doubt, hardship, and even conflict. But when you're with the right person, those moments become opportunities to deepen your connection rather than destroy it. The trust between you acts as a stabilizing force, allowing you to weather storms with grace. You don't feel the need to constantly guard yourself or question their intentions because you know that they are committed to walking this journey with you. And this sense of security isn't just comforting, it's transformative. It allows you to focus your energy on growth, both individually and as a couple, rather than on managing fear or suspicion. Another remarkable aspect of trust is its ability to inspire freedom. When you trust someone deeply, you're not consumed by the need to control them. You don't feel the constant urge to monitor their every move or second-guess their decisions. Instead, you allow them to be themselves, knowing that their authenticity is a gift to the relationship rather than a threat to its stability. This kind of freedom is liberating, and it's a hallmark of a partnership rooted in God's design.
That is so
reflects
good.
a mutual respect that goes beyond words, an understanding that each person's individuality is essential to the collective strength of the relationship. Now, this doesn't mean trust is never tested. Even in the most divine connections, there will be moments that challenge your faith in each other. But here's the key difference. In a relationship guided by God, these tests serve to refine trust, not to destroy it. They become moments of growth, teaching you both how to navigate complexity with wisdom and grace. And each time you emerge from these challenges, your trust in each other and in God's plan becomes stronger. And at its core, trust is a reflection of God's love. Just as He calls us to trust in Him even when we don't have all the answers, He invites us to build relationships that mirror this divine trust. When you find someone who inspires this kind of faith, it's not just a sign of compatibility, it's a sign of divine intention. It's as though God is saying, this is someone who will walk with you in faith, someone who will help you become the person I've called you to be. In the end, trust is not a passive state, it's an active choice. It's choosing to believe in the goodness of the other person, even when life becomes complicated. It's choosing to communicate with honesty rather than retreat into silence. And it's choosing to see challenges as opportunities for growth rather than as reasons to give up. So,
He mentioned God like 20 times in 1 minute now, and still you can just replace the word God with like a safe attachment. And for me, it is nothing less than a good relationship. Sure, you can add the word divine, intention, God's plan. For me, it doesn't matter. It's just a good fucking relationship. And that is amazing. The way he describes it, amazing. That is so good.
So, as you reflect on the relationships in your life, ask yourself this. Does this person inspire trust not only in their character, but also in God's plan for your life? Do they make you feel safe enough to be vulnerable, yet strong enough to face life's uncertainties with courage? These are not just questions of compatibility, because when trust is present, it becomes the soil in which love can truly flourish. It allows a relationship to grow not just in depth, but also in purpose, aligning with the greater narrative God has written for your life. Trust, when rooted in God, is the quiet assurance that you are exactly where you are meant to be. A powerful indicator that someone is the person God wants you to be with is their ability to bring out the best in you. This isn't a superficial change, but a profound transformation that touches every aspect of your being, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, and even physical. When you're with the right person, It's as though a light has been turned on within you, illuminating not just your strengths, but
It's an
also
extra
your
boost.
potential.
Yeah.
Consider the dynamics of influence. Humans are incredibly susceptible to the people they surround themselves with. We adopt habits, thought patterns, and even perspectives from those closest to us.
They say you are the sum of the closest 5 people in your life. Think about that. For me, it holds true, actually. Right? I don't even have 5 people. That's crazy.
When you're with someone who truly aligns with God's purpose for your life, their influence becomes a catalyst for your growth rather than a hindrance. Their presence doesn't diminish you, it amplifies the best parts of who you are while encouraging you to confront the areas that need improvement. The concept of being equally yoked often comes up in discussions about relationships, and for good reason. A yoke binds 2 oxen together to work in unison, ensuring that they move forward with equal effort and direction. When you are yoked with someone who shares your values, your faith, and your vision for the future, the relationship becomes a source of strength and purpose. This person doesn't just walk alongside you, they actively participate in your journey, helping you carry the weight of life's challenges while celebrating its victories. But here's the profound part. The right person doesn't just affirm your existing strengths. They also reveal the hidden potential you didn't know you had. They see possibilities in you that you might not have recognized on your own. This isn't about flattery or empty compliments. It's about genuine encouragement that inspires you to pursue your calling with courage and determination. They don't just tell you that you can achieve great things. This process, however, is not without its challenges. Growth often requires discomfort. When someone encourages you to become the best version of yourself, they may also hold up a mirror to areas of your life that need refinement. This can be uncomfortable, even painful at times, but it's also necessary. The right person doesn't shy away from difficult conversations or constructive criticism because they understand that true love seeks the good of the other person, even when it's hard. They hold you accountable not to control you, but to help you align your actions with your highest values. It's also important to recognize that this dynamic is reciprocal. Just as the right person brings out the best in you, you should do the same for them. Relationships are not one-sided, they are a partnership. If someone is helping you grow, but you're not investing the same energy into their development, the relationship becomes unbalanced. Godly relationships thrive on mutual edification, where both individuals are committed to each other's growth.
Again, you can take out the word godly and just put in good. It's a synonym.
Another key aspect of this transformative influence is the way it impacts your relationship with God. The right person will draw you closer to God, not pull you away. They will encourage you to deepen your faith, to seek God's will in all things, and to live a life that reflects His love and grace. This isn't about imposing religious expectations or rituals. It's about inspiring each other to walk in alignment with divine purpose. Their faith becomes a source of encouragement, a reminder that you are not navigating life's complexities alone. It's worth mentioning that this kind of relationship is rare. It's not something that happens by chance. It's the result of divine orchestration and intentional effort. Finding someone who truly brings out the best in you requires discernment, patience, and a willingness to wait for God's timing. It's tempting to settle for less, especially when loneliness or societal pressure weighs heavily. But settling for a relationship that doesn't inspire growth is ultimately a disservice to yourself and to God's plan for your life. So, how do you know if someone brings out the best in you? Reflect on how you feel and act when you're around them. Do they inspire you to be more kind, patient, and generous? Do they challenge you to think critically and act courageously? Do they encourage you to pursue your passions and align your life with your values? If the answer is yes, then it's worth exploring the possibility that this person is a part of God's plan for you. In the end, the right relationship is not about finding someone who makes life easy. It's about finding someone who makes life meaningful. It's about creating a partnership that pushes both of you toward your highest potential while anchoring you in faith and love. This kind of connection is not only fulfilling, but also deeply transformative, aligning your life with the greater purpose God has for you. As you consider the relationships in your life, ask yourself, is this person helping me become the person God has called me to be? Are they challenging me to grow in ways that matter? Because when you find someone who does, you're not just finding a partner, you're finding a piece of the divine plan for your life. And that, more than anything, is worth pursuing. One of the most profound signs that God wants you with someone is the inexplicable sense of peace you feel when you are with them. It's not the fleeting excitement or surface-level happiness that often accompanies infatuation. Rather, it's a deep, abiding calm that permeates your interactions and rests in your heart. This peace is not simply a lack of conflict or the absence of challenges. It's a reassurance that transcends circumstances, anchoring you in the conviction that this relationship aligns with God's purpose. Consider the difference between emotional chaos and emotional clarity. When a relationship is not right, there's often an underlying sense of unease. Doubts creep in, conflicts feel unresolved, and the emotional landscape can be turbulent. But when a relationship is rooted in divine intention, that turbulence gives way to stability. It's not that disagreements never occur or that life suddenly becomes perfect. Instead, it's the way these challenges are handled that reveals the true nature of the connection. When you're with the person God has chosen for you, conflicts are approached with mutual respect, understanding, and a commitment to resolution. The peace you feel is not the absence of struggle, but the presence of harmony in how struggles are navigated.
Because
This
you will
sense of
always
peace
struggle.
also extends to your spiritual life. When God wants you with someone, your relationship becomes a source of spiritual encouragement rather than a distraction from your faith. You find yourself drawn closer to God, inspired by the way your partner lives out their own faith journey. Their words and actions resonate with your values, reinforcing your commitment to live in alignment with God's will. They challenge you to grow spiritually, not through coercion or guilt, but through their example and support. This peace can also be recognized in the alignment of purpose. When two people are meant to be together, their individual callings often complement each other in ways that create a shared mission. This doesn't mean that your goals and dreams will be identical, but rather that they will intersect in meaningful ways. Perhaps your strengths balance their weaknesses, or your passions inspire their own pursuits. This alignment creates a sense of unity, making it clear that the relationship is not just about personal fulfillment, but also about contributing to something greater than yourselves. Another aspect of this peace is the absence of fear. In a God-ordained relationship, you don't live in constant fear of losing the other person or of being inadequate in their eyes. Instead, there's a mutual assurance that you are both committed to nurturing the relationship and honoring the covenant you've made with God. This security doesn't come from blind optimism or naivety. It comes from a shared understanding that the relationship is a sacred trust, not to be taken lightly or abandoned in moments of weakness. It's important to note that this peace does not mean that every moment will feel perfect. Relationships, even those that are divinely orchestrated, require effort, patience, and grace. There will be seasons of difficulty, moments of doubt, and times when you must work harder to maintain the connection. But the difference lies in the underlying foundation. When God is at the center of a relationship, the peace you feel serves as a reminder to persevere. It's a constant reassurance that you are where you're meant to be, even when the road is challenging. And this peace also extends to the people around you. When you are with someone God has chosen for you, your relationship becomes a source of blessing to others. Friends and family often notice the positive impact the relationship has on your character and well-being. They see the way you support and uplift each other, and they too feel a sense of peace and gratitude for the union. This ripple effect is another sign that the relationship is aligned with God's will, as it brings light and love not only to you, but also to those around you. Finally, this peace allows you to trust the process. When you're with the right person, you don't feel the need to control every detail or force outcomes. You can rest in the knowledge that God is guiding your steps, shaping your journey in ways you may not fully understand, but can trust completely. This trust frees you from anxiety and allows you to focus on nurturing the relationship rather than constantly questioning it. In the end, peace is one of the clearest indicators of God's hand in a relationship. It's a peace that surpasses understanding, grounding you in the knowledge that you are exactly where you are meant to be. It's a peace that encourages growth, fosters unity, and strengthens your faith. As you reflect on your relationships, ask yourself, do I feel this kind of peace? Does this relationship draw me closer to God and to my best self? If the answer is yes, cherish it, nurture it, and trust that in this peace you are walking in alignment with God's plan. When God orchestrates a relationship, his peace acts as both a compass and a refuge, guiding you through life's uncertainties while reminding you of his presence in your union. Let that peace be your assurance, your motivation, and your reason to trust his timing and his plan. When God wants you with someone, one of the most compelling signs is the growth and transformation that relationship inspires within you. Love, in its truest sense, is not simply about comfort or pleasure. It is a crucible for personal evolution. A God-centered relationship challenges you to become more than you were before, not by force, but by the natural inspiration that comes from being with someone who reflects God's intention for your life. Growth in a relationship doesn't always feel easy. In fact, the most meaningful relationships often bring to the surface parts of ourselves we'd rather not confront, our fears, insecurities, and shortcomings. This is not a sign that something is wrong. Rather, it's evidence of the refining power of love. When you're with the person God has chosen for you, they don't shy away from the difficult aspects of who you are. Instead, they lovingly encourage you to face those aspects, to wrestle with them, and to emerge stronger and more whole. This process isn't about judgment or criticism. It's about support and a mutual commitment to becoming the best versions of yourselves. Consider how iron sharpens iron. This biblical metaphor speaks to the way people in close relationships can refine one another. A God-ordained partnership works in much the same way. It's not about tearing each other down, but about shaping each other into the individuals God intended. Your partner might challenge your perspectives, push you to take risks, or encourage you to confront habits that no longer serve you. At first, these challenges might feel uncomfortable, even frustrating, but over time, you begin to see the fruit of this work. You find yourself growing in patience, humility, and resilience. All qualities that align with God's vision for who you are meant to be.
Amazing
This growth
qualities.
is not one-sided, it's mutual. In a relationship ordained by God, both individuals are equally invested in the other's development. There is a sense of reciprocity, a shared understanding that your love is not just about what you can receive, but also about what you can give. You find joy in supporting your partner's growth, even when it requires sacrifice or effort on your part. This mutual investment.
Man, I'm so big on this part that he said. And nowadays it is seen as a weakness in society.
Investment creates a dynamic of trust and respect, laying a foundation for a relationship that can withstand life's challenges. Spiritual growth is another critical dimension of this transformation. When God is at the center of a relationship, that relationship becomes a vehicle for deepening your connection to Him. Your partner encourages you to explore your faith, to lean into prayer, and to trust in God's plan, even when it feels uncertain. They don't distract you from your spiritual path, they walk it with you. This spiritual growth often spills over into other areas of your life. As you grow closer to God and to each other, you may find that your relationships with family, friends, and even colleagues improve. The love and patience you cultivate in your partnership begin to shape the way you interact with others. You become more compassionate, more understanding, and more willing to extend grace. In this way, your relationship becomes a ripple effect, spreading God's love beyond the two of you. Another powerful aspect of growth in a God-ordained relationship is the sense of purpose it brings. When you are with the right person, your individual callings often align in ways that enable you to accomplish more together than you ever could alone. This doesn't mean your dreams or goals are identical. Rather, it means that they complement each other, creating opportunities for collaboration and mutual support. Perhaps one of you has a gift for nurturing others, while the other has a passion for leadership. Together, these strengths create a powerful synergy, allowing you to serve God's kingdom in unique and impactful ways. It's also important to recognize that growth in a relationship requires intentional effort. Even when a partnership is divinely inspired, it doesn't thrive on autopilot. It requires open communication, vulnerability, and a willingness to confront challenges head on. But when both partners are committed to this process, the results are transformative. You don't just grow individually, you grow together, creating a bond that is both deep and enduring. As you reflect on the role of growth in your relationship, consider this. Are you becoming more of who God intended you to be? Are you helping your partner do the same? If the answer is yes, take heart. This growth is one of the clearest signs that God is working through your relationship, shaping it into something that honors Him and blesses others. In the end, growth is the hallmark of a love that is aligned with God's will. It's not about perfection or ease, but about the willingness to embrace the transformative power of love. When you allow yourself to grow within a relationship, you honor not only your partner, but also the God who brought you together. Let that be your motivation, your anchor, and your reminder that love, in its highest form, is both a gift and a responsibility. May you cherish it, nurture it, and trust that in your growth, God's purpose is being fulfilled. When God wants you with someone, one of the clearest and most profound signs is an unshakable sense of peace. Not the fleeting kind of peace that comes from avoiding conflict or discomfort, but a deep, abiding calm that anchors you even in the midst of uncertainty. This peace doesn't mean there won't be challenges in the relationship. There will be, because growth and love require effort. But it does mean that at your core, you feel aligned, steady, and reassured that this is the path you are meant to walk.
Yep.
Peace in a God-ordained relationship is not the absence of struggle, it's the presence of trust.
Or is it just chemicals in your brain making you crazy? It's so close to each other, no?
You trust that God has brought this person into your life for a reason, and that trust creates a foundation that no storm can shake. Even when disagreements arise or life throws unexpected challenges your way, you find yourself returning to this inner calm. You feel it in the quiet moments when you're together, in the way they look at you with love and understanding, and in the way you're able to resolve conflicts without tearing each other down. This peace is God's way of affirming that you're where you're supposed to be. It's important to note that this peace is not the same as infatuation or excitement, which often come early in relationships but can fade with time. Peace is enduring. It remains when the initial thrill wears off and the reality of life together sets in. It's in the way you feel safe opening up to your partner, knowing they won't judge you or use your vulnerabilities against you. It's in the way they make you feel seen and valued, not just for what you can do for them, but for who you truly are. This kind of peace is a hallmark of divine intention because it reflects God's desire for you to experience love that is steadfast and true. One of the most remarkable things about peace in a God-ordained relationship is that it often extends beyond the two of you. Others may notice it, even if they can't quite put it into words. Your family and friends might comment on how grounded and happy you seem, or how your relationship brings out the best in both of you. This peace becomes a testimony to God's work in your lives, a quiet but powerful witness to the way He orchestrates love in ways that surpass our understanding. This peace doesn't mean there won't be doubts or fears at times. We're human, after all, and even in the most divinely inspired relationships, moments of uncertainty can arise. But the difference is that these doubts don't consume you. Instead, they serve as opportunities to turn to God for guidance and reassurance. When you pray about your relationship, you don't feel confusion or anxiety. You feel clarity and confidence. You sense God's presence, gently reminding you that He is in control and that His plans for you are good. This peace also has a way of silencing the noise around you. In a world that is often loud with opinions and expectations, and what your relationship should look like, how quickly it should progress, or what sacrifices you should or shouldn't make, peace helps you tune out the distractions and focus on what truly matters. You're not swayed by the fleeting trends of culture or the unsolicited advice of others, because you know deep down that your relationship is grounded in something far greater than public opinion. It's grounded in God's will. In practical terms, this peace manifests in how you navigate life's complexities together. You approach decisions with unity, even when compromises are required. You communicate openly and honestly without fear of rejection or misunderstanding. And when hardships come, as they inevitably do, you face them with a sense of partnership rather than opposition. You don't question whether you'll get through it, you simply focus on how, knowing that God is guiding your steps. Ultimately, peace in a God-centered relationship is a reflection of God's character. God is not a God of chaos or confusion, but of order and harmony. When you experience this kind of peace, it's a reminder that you're living in alignment with His plan. It's a gift, yes, but it's also a responsibility to nurture it, protect it, and honor it by treating your relationship with the care it deserves. So, as you consider whether someone might be the person God wants for you, ask yourself, do I feel peace when I'm with them? Do I feel peace when I think about our future together? And most importantly, does this peace draw me closer to God? If the answer is yes, then lean into that. Trust that God's hand is at work and let that peace guide your steps. In the end, peace is more than just a feeling. It's a sign of divine presence. It's God's way of saying, this is where you're meant to be. Embrace it, trust it, and let it inspire you to build a relationship that honors Him. Because when peace leads the way, love flourishes in ways that are both profound and eternal. Let that be your reminder that in love as in life, God's peace
This makes me tear up a little bit. That was so good video. Again, you can replace the word God with true love, good love, healthy, secure, all of these things. It doesn't have to be as spiritual as he presented it to be. And the way he explained was so beautiful, dude. If you don't want this in your life, then what do you want? Nothing. There is nothing in how long? In 30 minutes of him talking without a break. Nothing that I would question. Zero. This is how it's meant to be. With the good and the bad. He mentioned it all. All throughout, I'm listening this, I'm thinking, we have less of this in this world. Maybe it's the surroundings I'm in. Maybe it's the age group, the content I consume, the news I watch. Maybe I have a false sense. And am faulty in giving this statement. But also, I do strongly believe we have less and less of this in the world. After all, it's the children which are the future. And where are the children now? On TikTok. I do not want to say TikTok is the devil, but it is. I'm posting shorts daily for the past 2 weeks or so. On TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of the socials. And the TikTok socials stand out for me the most. I see the templates and what people are looking at, what has the highest views, and it's all vanity. 1,000,000%. Zero depth. Zero. It is all superficial, fake. And the real contrast to all the other socials, actually. If I post a short on TikTok where the intro would be something, I don't know, an animation, a picture of something else, than naked skin, it gets so much less views. However, if I post a short where the first second is me flexing, within 2 hours it's like 1K views. The templates that you get for TikTok, thousands and thousands of templates. There is special effects underlining whatever is there to see in the short. And mostly it's just superficial people with filters, fake money, fake jewelry. It's a fake world. Who was it that said every day we strive further from God? It's true. Whatever God is. Nietzsche says God is dead. You know what else he says? We killed him. We're gonna have a day of just watching Nietzsche, I swear. This guy. The German philosophers are S+ tier, I swear. So many good ones. That was really good. It just confirms my belief, which has nothing to do with spirituality or God or anything. Just with what I think is right and what I want in life.